שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, שמו, בסכום מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכום מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו והגויים כבודו, וכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shalom Aleichem is on page 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nilei Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzetechem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom. This Shabbat is a time for reflection, happiness, and pride. Put your books in the pew. Put your hands on your lap with your feet on the ground. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And take a deep breath. As we keep our eyes closed and relax a little bit, not fall asleep, I share this prayer with you from my colleague, Rabbi Elena Stein, entitled A Prayer in Preparation for the New Year. God, prepare me for the new year. I know that it will be full of surprises. Of that, I can be certain. I do not know what kind of road I will travel or where it will lead. I ask that you keep me fortified for the trip and open to exploring the paths before me with a sense of wonder and adventure. I do not know what joys and celebrations are in store. I ask that you make me willing to dance and dream with a sense of gratitude for each bright new day. I do not know what sorrows or pain I might encounter. I ask that you give me strength to bear each crisis as it comes. I do not know how this year will unfold. I ask that you make my steps firm, that I might walk gently, lovingly, and reverently along a trail that I am certain will be paved with blessings. Together we say, Amen. Let these words help us prepare for our Shabbat service, which begins on page 3 with Corey lighting our Shabbat candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light, is it on? As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Some of us already did Kiddush, so I'm going to use my water because there is not a Kiddush cup. Please join me on page 7 for Kiddush. No, let's look at page 5. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
We continue now on page 12, Lehuna Ranana, as we open up our Shabbat service singing songs of joy with Psalm 95.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Yai lai la lai lai la lai la lai. Yai lai la lai lai la lai lai. Yai lai la lai lai la lai lai la lai. Yai lai la lai lai la on page 22, we give thanks to God for Shabbat, and with Mizmor Shir at the top of the page. Mizmor Shir leyom haShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. L'agid בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Turn back 2 pages to page 20 so that we can join together singing Lachado D as we welcome that Sabbath spirit towards us, singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach our 9th verse, Bo'и v'Shalom, we will rise as one congregation, facing the entrance to our sanctuary, beckoning that Sabbath spirit towards us with our voices and our love. So if you are joining us on live stream, you can do the same in your own home with your voices and your love. Page 20.
Ishmi
turn to those around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know that you are glad they are here. That was not enough Shabbating and Shaloming. All right, we are going to continue on page 26 as we remain standing through Shema. Amen. We continue together on page 30 with Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chochma potech sha'arim, uvitvuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uven layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Together on page 32 for Ahavat Olam. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch
may be seated. Please join me on page 36 with the Hafta. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת.
We continue on the bottom of page 39, not 9, 39, as we read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
The top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, val kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44, Vishamru.
ושומרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We rise for the Amidah beginning on page 46.
Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elokei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, v'Elokei Yaakov, Elokei Sarah, Elokei Rivka, Elokei Rachel, v'Elokei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Moshiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechokel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'Rofeh Cholim, U'Motir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'gevurot, U'Midor Melech, Melech Meimit U'Mechayeh, U'Motzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Page 55, we join together at the top. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. I want you to turn to page 57 and look at that bottom line of Hebrew, our Chatimah, as I share with you a prayer from elsewhere in our prayer book. I can stay the tears of others if I can see myself as diminished of their sorrows. I can hasten time when everyone will be able to rejoice in freedom, and if I can see myself as the companion of those fighting against oppression. I can honor the struggle of people everywhere to gain dignity and deliverance from bondage. When I look at myself in the mirror, who will I see? Together, Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha be'ira na'avod. Page 58. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 61, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, eternal one, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. We take a moment now to think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. We think of those names on your order of service, or if you are joining us on live stream, those that are found on your screen. We take a moment to whisper the names aloud of those we are thinking of. We join together in the words of Misha Berach, which can be found on page 253.
take a moment now for your own silent meditation.
I would like to share a story with you. Baxter, the pig who wanted to be kosher. One fine day, sorry you're not seeing him. One fine day when Baxter was waiting for his bus, an old man sat down beside him and said, "Oh, I wish it were sundown right now." "Why's that?" asked Baxter. He was a curious sort of pig. "Because at sundown," said the old man, "the candles gleam and glow and dance while our sweetest voices lift in song." "They do?" asked Baxter. He had never seen a candle dance. "Certainly," said the old man. "Tonight is the beginning of Shabbat, the day of rest. And so we make a special dinner. We light the candles, we sing our thanks, and raise a glass surrounded by those we love best." "Wow," said Baxter. "That does sound like fun. That sounds terrific." "It is terrific," said the old man as his bus pulled up. Then he was gone. All week long, Baxter thought about the old man's words. The candles gleam and glow and dance while our sweetest voices lift in song. So the following Friday, Baxter hurried back to the bus stop, but the old man was nowhere to be seen. Instead, Baxter found a younger man wearing a long white apron. After a while, Baxter cleared his throat. "I wonder, sir, do you know anything about Shabbat dinner?" "I should hope so," replied the man in the apron. "Oh, good," said Baxter. "Will you tell me how I can be part of it?" The man in the apron stared. "You? A pig? Part of Shabbat dinner? That's impossible." "Why?" asked Baxter. "You're not kosher," said the man in the apron. "Kosher?" asked Baxter. "What's kosher?" But just then, the bus arrived. That night, Baxter happened to be at the grocery store when he noticed a jar on the very top shelf. Kosher, read the big block letters across the jar of pickles. Why, Baxter loved pickles. That week, Baxter ate pickles. Pickles and pickles and pickles. Pickle sandwiches and pickle soup, pickles for breakfast and pickles in bed. On Friday, he arrived at the bus stop smelling of vinegar and lugging his jar. But this time was a woman in a large hat sitting on the bench. When Baxter sat down beside her, she wrinkled her nose and scooched away from him. "What's with the pickle juice?" she asked. "I found kosher," Baxter said proudly. "Mazel tov," said the woman in the large hat. "So what?" "So," he said, "do you think I'm kosher yet?" The woman in the large hat just laughed. "Pickles can dress up a sandwich or brighten a day. They're good, but they aren't that good." Sadly, Baxter set down his jar. The next day, Baxter returned to the grocery store. "Excuse me, sir," he said to the store manager. "Do you have anything else kosher? The pickles were delicious, but I'm afraid they didn't quite do the trick." The manager pointed Baxter toward an enormous pile of fresh bread. Baxter had never tasted raisin challah before. 5 loaves later, and sick to his little round stomach, he moaned, "I must be kosher by now. Maybe even a little too kosher." Later that day, Baxter arrived at the bus stop and found the old man had returned. "Shalom," said the old man. "Hello," said Baxter. "I'm glad you're here. I've learned so much, all about pickles and challah. What do you think? Am I kosher yet?" The old man looked puzzled. "You want to be kosher?" Baxter nodded. "Well, now I've heard it all," said the old man. "But a pig is a pig is a pig. It's too bad you aren't a cow. Cows are kosher." All week long, Baxter practiced mooing. He acquired a handy set of horns. He cultivated a taste for clover. By Friday, he felt fairly certain he was nearly bovine. But this time, when he got to the bus stop, nobody was there. He waited and waited, but nobody came. He mooed once more for good measure. Finally, dejected, he took off his horns and let out a deep sigh. But just then, he felt a tap on his shoulder. Looking up, Baxter found a woman with a big book standing above him. The woman said, "Hello, I'm Rabbi Rosen. Can I help you?" See why I like this book? "Oh, I only wish you could," blurted Baxter, "but I fear it's hopeless. A pig is a pig is a pig. I'll never be kosher." The rabbi gasped. "Why on earth would you want to be kosher?" "I want to be kosher," explained Baxter, "so that I can be part of Shabbat dinner. I gorged on pickles, I stuffed myself with challah, I mooed and grazed and wore those silly horns for days, but nothing is working." "But," said the rabbi, "why would you want to get eaten?" "Eaten? Me?" Baxter looked up sharply. "Who said anything about getting eaten? I want to see the candles gleam and glow and dance. I long to lift my sweetest voice in song. Isn't that what Shabbat dinner is all about?" The rabbi burst into laughter. "Yes, those things are important, it's true. But, my little pink friend, there has been a terrible misunderstanding. Although you're not kosher to eat and never will be, everyone is welcome at Shabbat dinner." Then the rabbi opened her book and rifled through it because we all carry Talmuds with us. "See," she said, "look right here. It is a mitzvah to welcome a stranger, and you, my friend, are certainly strange. So I'd be most grateful if you join me for Shabbat dinner tonight." Baxter beamed. "Oh, thank you," he said. "Thank you very much." And so, at last, Baxter the pig watched the candles gleam and glow and dance. And so he raised his sweetest voice in song, and he had a marvelous time. Though, it must be admitted that he made rather a mess of his kugel. So this is the most often requested story I have ever told from the Bima, and I share it for a little bit of a different reason than I have before. A lot of times we talk about our Jewish practice and how we want to be better. And frankly, that's what's happening with Baxter. He wants to be with a group of people. The rabbi wants him to feel welcomed. But the underlying message for me tonight, Baxter isn't very happy with who he is and wants to change. There are things that we can change and ways for us to mature, just like we see Jacob's sons mature in our Torah portion this week of Vayigash. They have grown up and realized their mistakes before and their behavior relating to Joseph. Joseph, too, has matured and learned to be a leader and not be cocky. I have a caveat, though. As we approach 2023 and are bombarded with messages of New Year's resolutions and how to better ourselves, we need to wade through them and decide what the things are that we can work on to better ourselves because we want to, not because society tells us we need to. I am specifically talking about resolutions about weight loss, dieting, exercising, and yet there are so many resolutions. These kinds are not always supportive of who you are, and some of them tell us to change who we are to conform to someone else's standards. So let us be like Baxter and revel in who we are, even if sometimes we try to be someone else. And this Shabbat, may we be like Baxter and learn to be accepted and welcomed for who we are, recognizing that we are humans and always a work in progress. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with our service with Aleinu, page 283, and I invite you to please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכול, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we turn to page 291 for our memorial meditation, we note with sadness the death of Mark Rogo, husband of Moira, father of Elena, Gabriel and Amy, and Kieran. Funeral services will be held at 1 p.m. on Friday, January 6th at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery. Our memorial meditation is number 6 by Rabbi Richard Levy. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were, in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one, whose life now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community and extended community as we think of those who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Marion Abrams, Sarah Adelman, Pomposa Arriaga, Shirley Barish, Jay Bass, Mac B. Burler, Sarah Bernstein, Donald Billings, Brent K. Bischoff, Abraham S. Bodenheimer, Marvin Red Bond, Clarice Brightman, Phyllis Chaffin, Daniel Chasnoff, Dottie Cohen, Ida Cohen, Minnie Davis, Dan Stern Drieben Sr., Abe Eidelberg, Ernest Espinosa, Gay Brooks Felder, Myron Fink, Justa Fong, Matilde Forchheimer, Linda Fuller, Violet Gershowitz, Norma Greenberg, Annie Hampton, Beatrice Harris, Minette Herman, Leslie Huddleston, Francis Callison, Harold Keller, Ruth Kern, Philip Leon, Sharon Levine, Madeline E. Libby, Edgar May, Perry Mexick, Shirley Ruth Meyerson, Louis Miller, Jeannie Muir, Ruth Pastor, Hilda Anise Pomerantz, Pauline Rosenblum, Dorothy Rosenthal, Shelley Rubin, Sarah Lee Sack, Leo Shafir, Sylvia G. Charlack, Arthur Schleifer, Marvin Seelig, Sam Seelig, Norma Shander, Helen Sigalo, Isabel Silverman, Irene Scora, Sylvia Sugarman, Cheryl Lebo Solser, Reba R. Viner, David Voltz, Kenneth Walker, and Harold Weiss. To these names, we add the names of those who've been buried in the past 30 days, whose families are in a mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Marjorie Gernsbacher, Linda Rogers, Sandra Wolf, Dr. H. Norman Abramson, Mary Sivan, Rose Kamen, Jane Bankler, and Shirley Hoffman. We also think of two who have been laid to their eternal rest this week as we mark their Shiva, their family and friends mourning period. We remember Dr. Hugh Wolf, husband of Sylvia Wolf, father of Temple Beth-El members Stephanie and Larry Rickle, Tim and Alyssa Wolf, Amy and Ted Kahan, and Jane and Steve Mitnick, grandfather of Josh and Natalie, Lindsay and Jason, Hallie, Meredith, Aaron and Ari, Ethan, Alex, and Michelle, great-grandfather of Max and Ben, Jonah and Jordan, and Remy. We also remember Jeanette Renteria, aunt of Anthony Morellis. To all of these names, we add those which are in our hearts each and every day as we rise together as one community for Kaddish Yatom on page 294. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'v'zman kariv, imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu, La'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It is my honor to call forward Debbie Roos, President of our Board of Trustees, to deliver tonight's announcements.
I'd like to welcome everyone, and I'm very glad that you could join us in our sanctuary or in your own sacred space, or in your own sacred space, and you decided to come into our sacred space. I'd like to thank all who took part in our service tonight, including Corey Palmer, who lit our Shabbat candles.
And I'd like to also welcome back Cantor Berlin, and we hope that you are rested and inspired from your sabbatical. On many levels, 2022 has been like a Charles Dickens novel for me. It's been the best of times, and it's been the worst of times. There was so much laughter that I cried, and so much crying that I couldn't help but laugh. I won't bore you with the details, as I know we all have our own entries in this annual ledger. While I reflected on the highs and lows of my year, I realized that they collectively took up only a fraction of my time around the sun. So what the heck did I do with the rest of my time? For you musical aficionados, you'll appreciate this question. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? So I did some thinking. Where did the rest of my minutes go? 1, sleep. This is critical. Not enough of it or enough quality sleep provides a shaky ground for just about everything else. My work product, my attitude, my physical health. So sleep was a key investment. 2, exercise. I'm a former group fitness instructor, and I still prefer to be a couch potato. However, moving my body, especially when I don't want to, makes sleeping better and supports my work product, my attitude, and my physical health. Temple and work. No explanation needed here. This stuff gets a lot of my time and attention. Family and friends. As I got to this item, I struggled. David Foster Wallace's address to Kenyon College, however, gave me some perspective. He wrote, quote, "There are these 2 young fish swimming along, and they happen to meet an older fish swimming the other way, who nods at them and says, 'Morning, boys, how's the water?' And the 2 young fish swim on for a bit, and then eventually one of them looks over at the other and goes, 'What the hell is water?'" Family and friends. They've been my water through these best of times and these worst of times. I could not have breathed without them. Where did I spend the rest of my 2022? Swimming among some amazing people and perhaps not recognizing the lifeline they provided me. Like when my 5'8", 140-pound baby lays his head on my shoulder, or when my sweet husband buys white cake with white icing just because, or when a friend writes me a note that makes my whole day. This is water, and that's where the rest of my minutes went. While the highs and lows got my attention because they required and absorbed so much energy, these little moments are the ones that carried me along, filled my aching lungs and heart with life-giving oxygen, and ensured my existence. As we enter the new year, I invite you to notice the water and more of the individual 525,600 minutes that are awaiting ahead of each of us. Here are some of the upcoming events at Temple. On Sunday, January 8th, join fellow Temple movie lovers for this month's screening of A Man Called Otto. We will meet at the Santiago's Embassy 14 for the 12:30 p.m. showing. Please RSVP to Ross to reserve tickets. Jewish high school juniors and seniors are invited to apply for the 2023 cohort of the Israel Leadership Fellowship. Over the course of 5 sessions, teens will deepen their understanding of Israel, prepare for anti-Semitism they may face, and develop transferable skills in tough conversations about Israel. To learn more and to apply, go to jfsatx.org/learn. Applications are due by January 15th, 2023. Adult Hebrew classes taught by Rachel Walsh will be offered on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings via Zoom, beginning the week of February 6th. Classes will not conflict with Jewish holidays. For more information, see our website for how to contact Rachel. There are still some spots on our Israel trip, and registration is still open. Please visit the Adult Learning tab on our website for more information. You can also register for our Temple trip to Krakow, Warsaw, and Berlin, October 15th through the 25th, 2023. In Krakow and Warsaw, we will bear witness to the most painful chapter in Jewish history, while experiencing the invigorating rebirth of a young and vibrant Jewish community. In Berlin, one of the world's most exciting capitals, we will meet the painful past while enjoying the sense of hope which infuses the current Jewish community. Registration and the full itinerary can be found on the Temple website as well. Everything going on at Temple is listed on our website calendar and in our weekly email, which arrives in your inbox around 4 p.m. every Thursday. Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Year.
We are going to conclude with Adon Olam, verses 1 and 5, to a special once-a-year melody on page 321. I invite you to please rise.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Nasa V'Chefetzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra B'Yado Avkid Ruchi B'Tishane Ayiro V'Imruchi Keviati Adonai Li V'Lo Yira.
Shabbat Shalom.
And Happy New Year.